I think, Manny, you had some stuff you wanted to talk about, some questions, some what, some,
I did.
you had a moment? Yeah, you did something.
I should
Can
write
you
those
guys hear
instances
that
down.
cat?
Oh,
Yeah, yeah.
no, I can't hear your cat. I'm sorry.
Okay, good.
It's
Because
probably for.
she's screaming at me and I don't know what to do.
Is she in heat?
No, she's a little bit retarded. She's got what you call wobbly tail syndrome. So she's just real particular about that's like a
Sounds kind of
little,
made up. Sounds kind
no,
of
it's
made up.
not like it's a physical condition that you can
You
actually
said
see,
wobbly
but it,
tail. Who named this?
yeah, wobble
Who named that?
tail. I'm
Was there a
telling
doctor
you.
named Wobbly?
I'm telling you.
Wobbly
Telling
dash
you.
tail is like a hyphenated last name. Wobbly.
Stop.
If you want me to take cat diseases seriously, give them a real name, like feline AIDS. You know what I mean? If you called it like, what if you called it it's because it's probably like feline dementia, feline
Dementor.
Alzheimer's.
Right. Go ahead and start recording
It's not,
the audio,
it's not
senor.
funny. It's not funny at all.
I know.
Mhm.
Record to the cloud.
All right. Three, two, one. Let's go.
Good evening, Endless Ranters. Welcome back for episode 196 of your Endless Ranters podcast. My name is Chris, and I'm one of your hosts for this evening. And dear world, Trump is coming back. Trump is coming back.
It's a
It's
deer
about to
world.
get It's about to get America AF. So get your shit straightened out, get your attitude right, get your priorities straight, get your head out your asses. It's gonna be a lot of fun. We're gonna do a lot of winning. And I'm one of
Big
your
league.
hosts for this evening. I think I already said that. Uh, I'm joined by our other hosts. It's Quana. How you doing? It's a soggy mom living in a crunchy mom's world. I'm sorry. I'm a little excited tonight, as you can tell. How you
Yeah,
doing?
yeah, yeah. I'm good. I'm good. Feeling like a big win after last night's big boy press conference. Why did they
Well, it's
call it
perfect.
that?
He was
It's like we're
just big
being
boy
punked.
enough. He was just big boy enough. They brought out 11 a.m. Joe at 7:30 at night. So kudos to the team, to the doctors, to the entire Biden administration for getting those doses just right. We got 11 a.m. Joe Biden last night. You know,
Special
just
appearance.
enough to scare off the Chinese and the Russians for one more day.
Yeah, literally just
One
one.
more day. And then
I
there's man with
know.
the plan. It's producer Manny. What's going down, old man?
Hey.
Uh, hey, uh, hello, Manny.
This is not racist because Chris is, in fact, half
Well, I'm half
Yeah.
Korean,
Oriental.
and I think the Japanese did a lot of bad stuff to my people. Like, there's a lot of bad stuff going back and forth, but mostly the Japanese doing bad stuff to my people, the Korean people. So, yeah, I watched Shogun. Hey, watched the entire 10 episodes of Shogun on, I think it's FX. Was that an FX program?
Yeah.
Okay.
I watched it on the Hulu, right? So,
I, I take it you
that's
enjoyed
great.
it a lot.
It was great. It's a great show.
Mhm.
Um, I didn't think it was as great as everybody says it was, but very entertaining. They did the whole like like the Japanese samurai, like that whole like 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 the whole thing where they have all the walls. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Everybody's marching in line. A
Right.
lot of uh, a lot of sliding like paper walls. You know what I
Hmm.
mean?
The partitions.
Yeah.
Yeah, I gotcha.
A lot of sleeping on the floor. Very
Hey,
thin.
don't
Like I don't know. It's like there's something impressive to that. It's like man, that some bitch is sleeping, and he's just got like a half-inch thick sleeping bag.
don't
Like
knock it till you try it, man. Sleeping on the floor is very
that is
relaxing.
that's discipline. Yeah, but like yeah, a lot of sliding paper doors, a lot of height, a lot of. I mean, I learned Japanese in about I don't know. It took me like 4 days to get through the series. To learn Japanese in a short period of time.
Okay.
It's been speaking
Nice.
a lot of Japanese to my dog
Okay.
How's
because
your
it's
Yeah.
dog
seen
taking to it?
pretty good. Yeah, pretty good.
Yeah.
A lot of like Doga out the side. Like
Oh,
I do a lot of commands. I do a lot of like when no one's around, you know.
wait. I
Of
thought you were
course, when no
actually
one's around.
speaking Japanese. I thought maybe the series had like some Japanese that you had learned. Like, no,
I mean,
no.
I thought I was. Maybe it's because I was so much that you understood what I was saying. It's out the side,
Is that how they
out
talk
the
on the show?
inside. Just they're very emphatic in their in how they talk. Like
Hmm.
when they're mad, like oh, you know what I mean?
Oh,
Like they know how to show disgust.
okay.
You know
You
what I
must
mean?
have
Like
the
when they're
happy
not happy
hours.
with someone's behavior, like when their son hasn't cleaned up their room or like left, like went in the garage and got some tools out, didn't put them away. It's like they know how to show disgust,
Nobody's
real, like
business.
they know how to shame. They know how to shame their children.
Well, and you know what?
Like just
If they have shame on themselves, they're the ones that do the thing, right?
yeah.
The sword. Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
mostly speaking Japanese to my dog. Uh,
Nice,
practicing on her
nice.
basic commands.
Well,
Let us
that's
know
What
how
do
it
y'all
good.
been up?
progresses.
What languages have you been learning? None. Oh, okay.
None to be honest with no.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
no.
I'm
That's
just staying
cool.
sharp on the two that I already know. So that's all I can do at this moment, this time.
All
Oh
right.
yeah.
Fine.
Look at this one.
Fine.
Bragging with his bilingual.
Really.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Okay, whatever.
It's the only
You've been watching anime for years. You don't know a single lick of Japanese like I do.
uh
Can you take your dog on a walk in Japanese? No.
I don't have a dog. Stop throwing that in my face,
Exactly.
Christopher.
Exactly. Walk right into that.
Exactly.
Oh no.
What else has been going? So yeah.
Well, to
hi.
address the elephant in the room, we've been away for a couple of weeks. Everyone was out doing their thing, enjoying time with family, blowing stuff up, what have you.
Yeah, happy 4th of July.
Happy 4th of July. Yeah.
Was
It has been a long couple weeks. There's so much going on.
yeah.
So much going on.
But I know
I don't
that
know, man.
I want to catch up with you because I know that you had new neighbors. What's up with that?
Oh, Spinderella.
Hmm.
I'll be honest, I haven't really been able to fact check this, but somebody
Okay.
posted in a local Facebook group that Spinderella of the
Right.
she was a
Salt and pepper,
you know,
DJ.
yeah, if I have to explain to you illiterates that she was the DJ for Salt and Pepper. Sorry for about that, but yeah, she moved to Little Elm,
Uh-huh.
bought a modest home in Little Elm.
Hmm.
Uh, but no, I haven't been able to. I haven't been able to fact check that. I did Google search it today to see if I could find that original post, but it was not available anymore. It was like taken down off Facebook.
Maybe
Oh,
I
there's some
did
validity
find
to it then.
some people did like screen capture. It was by some one of these like it is. It's like everything online nowadays is just you never know. It could be incredibly entertaining and fake, or you never know what's fake. But it's
It's
just
all
some
fake.
realtor that was just trying to like
It's
get
just all
followers or
fake.
something.
Yeah, exactly.
or like the dude who bought Adam Carolla's house has to sell it because everybody was talking about he bought Adam Carolla's house. Maybe, she won
Yeah,
that.
that was
She
kind
had it
of
taken down,
yeah. Is anybody
right?
gonna? I wonder if anybody's gonna get in trouble over that. Because
Over what?
as Adam Kroll listeners that we all are, that's how that's our
Sure.
origin story as a group. But so
Yeah.
Adam Kroll sold his home in wherever was it Lock and Yada or wherever he was,
Yeah,
Laguna.
but
Yeah.
yeah.
to Shohei Ohtani, LA Dodgers baseball pitcher.
Yeah.
And yeah, I wonder if anybody's, and I guess now Otani is saying he's got to move for privacy reasons, mainly because the two Japanese channels, like two prominent Japanese television channels, have been just flying helicopters over this house nonstop.
Oh no shit.
That's so fucked up.
But yeah, I wonder if anybody can get in trouble for like disclosing that, who bought the house, but I don't know.
What's
Right.
public records? So I don't.
Yeah, but
sure.
no.
I wonder if he bought a
Um,
private residence that wasn't another celebrity's residence, if it would have been such a big deal. You know what I mean?
Mm.
I
Because
didn't really
Corolla's
look
house
into
was
this
in
that
the
much, but
news so much, right? That it
yeah, I guess
hadn't
so.
sold, that he lowered the price, that he was getting a divorce, the settlement.
Yeah, I guess you're if you're a celebrity and you want to buy a house and have private, you shouldn't buy a house from another celebrity. You know what I
Mhm.
mean?
Right,
You shouldn't buy Barbara Streisand's like former beach,
right.
because they're be like, well, that's who
Be a
bought
second.
that. It's like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, that's rough. That bummed out because I thought it'd be pretty funny because Adam, like every time Adam like has any kind of in with a celebrity, like a huge celebrity, it kind of goes wrong a little
Yeah.
bit. But like I was hoping to like like they would just announce that like Shohei Ohtani decides he's gonna gut the entire place because like Adam like had renovated the whole place.
It's like, wait,
Yeah.
what?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Why?
the article
No.
I read, he never even moved in.
Or like
So,
Ohtani said it was dated. It looked dated. So
right.
just
I'm sorry, but this.
something like real like low key insult, like just like real like kind of
Yeah.
what is that an insult? Like like
Well, selling it so fast is kind of, you know what I mean? Like, ugh, can't have this.
yeah, it is kind
I'm
of a
too
no,
big of a
yeah, it's like
celebrity to live here. Obviously, I have
yeah.
to sell it immediately.
What were some of the other
But
Adam Carolla things where like I guess he was about to do like the Willie T. Ribs story for Showtime and then John Singletary died because of
Yeah.
that. He had just gotten
yeah,
Bill Cosby to do yeah, I think that's when shit went down for Bill Cosby. Like Bill Cosby was living a perfectly good life as a pill popping drugging rapist, and then he decided that he would do an interview for Adam Carolla
Mhm.
for the Willie T. Ribs documentary, and then bam, like Bill Cosby got arrested and thrown in jail.
yeah.
It's
Got
been a
some
couple
stink
other
on him.
ones,
There's been a
a couple of
couple.
those. I just remember
Uh,
thinking at the time, like, man, that's such bad luck.
well,
Because then,
Costner's
like,
movie, he came on Corolla's show and his movie went straight to DVD, basically. They
that's
pulled
tough
it
because
from
I
the theater after
really,
like 2 days.
unfortunately, like Kevin Costner is finding out about like a lot of other
Yeah.
whatever Hollywood production houses that you better do something really like I'm really into that genre of
Mhm.
like Old West and that era, like the Yellowstone show. Uh, but like it's 2024. I got kids, man. You're telling you want me to get you're trying to get like 3.5, 4 hours of my time,
Right.
plus the money. You know how much I can eat and drink in one of the damn recliner movie theaters now.
Hold on, wait. The movie that he released is 4 hours long.
I think it's three.
Oh wow,
Sometimes I'm playing it up a
that
little bit for
pisses me off. That
transportation
pisses me
and
off. Okay. Yeah. No, that makes me mad.
but
I hate
also yeah,
that.
it's a lot of food and drink, because you're not going to go to like a like a cine, whatever the hell, those Cinemark and just sit there in like one of those plain seats. You're going to go to like a Flicks, like a brew house or whatever, where you can
Yeah.
order food the whole time and drinks
Yeah.
and risk being
It's my
even passed
favorite.
out at the end, not even remembering what happened.
It's the best.
So I think really, yeah, I probably should have done this one like straight like on Amazon Prime
Yeah. I think that's where it went to one of the streamings,
or
One of the
I
hubs, one
don't
of the
no,
sites.
the first one, can
which
you?
I'm
Because the
excited to
first
watch.
one, so the first one is still in theaters. I don't know that it's on streaming yet. I looked up if you could buy it, and all I saw was a pre-order for the DVD. So I was curious. I was
I
actually
saw that
curious, like if
yesterday
I could
that
just
they
buy it.
pulled it. So I don't know when you looked, but it said that they pulled it from theaters yesterday.
Well, well, there's a second Horizon. There's a second part to it that
Okay.
that they decided not to go to theater. So they may have been talking about that one,
Oh,
but
okay. So
I really don't know.
they
I
might
haven't
have just
again.
trimmed it.
I haven't looked into it that closely. It's kind of a bummer because I am sure it's good. Well, I'm biased. I'm a fan.
Yeah,
I've liked
I
all
am
his
too.
movies. I've seen Waterworld
Same.
at least 100
Oh my
times.
God, I love Waterworld. The
Yeah,
Postman.
it's great.
Love
It
him.
makes me angry because at that time when he made Waterworld, that was like that was a
It's a great
I'm just
movie.
saying, I'm like kind of keen to these things. Like Kevin Costner was like a can do no wrong actor.
Yeah, for sure.
And then when he made Waterworld, um, I remember because there wasn't a lot of media at that time. Like, what is this? Like the mid '90s or I don't know, like '90s.
There was plenty of
There's
media
not
at the
like,
time.
but there's
I mean,
not
there was
like
that's all there was at the time was legacy media
legacy
outlets.
media, but there wasn't like 100 different outlets,
Yeah.
right? Like you could, but like every article, like even when they were making Waterworld, um, they started to turn on him. They started to like I saw started to see articles about how Waterworld was like going way over production, was a disaster before it was
Yeah.
even made. And I guess you saw
Right.
some of that kind of stuff about like maybe some of the recent Star Wars movies like Solo, where
Hmm.
like a lot of negative press was coming out about the actor
Right.
Right.
during production, and that doesn't happen by accident.
Yeah. You're
So
right.
I don't. Uh, so, but yeah, it was like a weird. That Waterworld was a weird time where he went over budget, and that's what got him really. That's my take is that he went over budget on Waterworld, and that's
Yeah.
what got him in big trouble. Like, because money is kind of what really matters in that world.
Hmm.
Sure.
So a lot of
True.
negative stuff happened. I love that movie. I thought it was a
Me
great
too.
movie. Like, even if it kind of like, I don't know. I'm sure
Yeah.
it's not the best film. There's plenty of holes, whatever, but it was kind of
Eh,
epic.
yeah.
That's it.
Absolutely.
Postman, same thing. The Postman,
Yeah. Those two got
Postman
the
was like,
most heat for him.
he got he
It
got a
was
lot of heat
fine. It
for
was a
that.
fine movie. It was
Yeah, I
fine.
thought it was good. I thought it was good. Like, if, I'm not gonna lie, I'm not gonna like sit through it for 3 hours straight, but I'll like watch it over the course of a couple days, and that movie, and I thought it was
Oh, I mean, I
there
think I
were
saw it when it came out, right? I just went to that
yeah,
was
there was
back in the day when you
poignant
just saw it in the
moments.
theater. Yeah.
Yeah, poignant
Yeah.
moments and like a lot of like Adam was saying in that last with Horizon,
Hmm.
that there's a lot of different stories going on, a lot of mini stories going
At
on at the same
once.
time.
Yeah.
So,
That seems to be his thing, right? He seems like layered. He likes that.
but yeah, I
I'll
guess
watch
he
anything
yeah,
he's in.
I just
Okay.
remember that
I'm
like
in.
during the production of Waterworld is when like he went from everybody loves this guy, like everybody to like everybody, like half everybody likes him and half is
Yeah.
he's got problems and he's just,
Yeah.
I don't know. So, but maybe I don't know. Maybe there's a case like maybe he kind of is a dick too,
Yeah.
or maybe he
Or I
can be.
mean,
I don't know.
yeah. Yeah. I mean, I imagine he has a solid base. So like he's not gonna be easily swayed one way or another. Like he seems like he's very, this is the way I am and that's that. You know what I mean? So maybe it's like that on set too. I don't
Yeah,
know. It's sad that he's not coming back to Yellowstone though. I mean, I feel like that series just could have went on and on and on. I feel
yeah.
like that's over politics though, right?
I'm not. Well, I think that's over. Like, well, if you believe them, it's about really scheduling and It sounds like Kevin Costner. My take on it was like he's getting old and he doesn't really want to work and have to work year round, and he wants to do his own stuff. So he would like to be kind of the master of his own
Isn't
schedule. And if he's on
isn't that
Yellowstone,
Tyler
he's not.
Sheridan guy though a little bit like maybe not in the same political idea as
Um, I
Costner?
uh, I don't really know. I would expect that he's more of a
I think there was
go
some
whatever way
beef.
the wind blows kind of guy because he was kind
Oh,
of a
okay.
kick around. Like, uh, again, I have no idea. He was kind of a kick around guy in Hollywood, right?
Hmm.
Like he was like a struggling actor before he got, I guess, a couple script. I'm not really sure, but earned it like good scripts or got a good got a
Yeah.
good couple things, but I don't really know. Like, I don't really probably. I would think if he's like really focused on the work and like making all these shows, and that he's more like, I don't know, like I gotta just go along to get along with
Yeah.
all the people that are producing all six of my shows right now, because he's got
Yeah.
multiple
Like a
TV shows going on
the
in
David E.
production.
Kelly of this generation.
Yeah, but I do think that just this is my opinion, and I'm not going by like the negative press or anything, but I do think
Well,
that
that's what
like,
we're here for. We're here for your opinion.
well, no, like the shows, like some of the writing in the kind of got pretty weak and like kind of like I don't.
In Yellowstone?
Well, maybe Yellowstone got a little convoluted, if that's the
Yeah,
right word, or just like
sure.
it just became very normal, like where every character is turning on every character all the time. It's like, okay, this is I've seen this before in another setting.
Yeah.
They have the same
Dallas.
show. They have the same show in Dallas or Vikings or
Yeah,
any time era. We've seen the same show where where they're just like turning on each other for plot.
sure.
Um, but like the Tulsa Kings or Tulsa King with Sylvester
How
Stallone
is that?
show, the first
Good?
the premise was good. The first part of the first season was good, but it kind of got ridiculous. Like,
How so?
and just a little outlandish, or like this is not, or no, not ridiculous. It kind of got normal, right? Like this is normal, like kind of CSI Miami bullshit, or
Mm.
like second
How
rate.
dare you? How dare you?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
How
I shouldn't
dare
say it. I'm
you?
sorry. Yeah, I
Oh
take
my
that back. It's
gosh.
more like it's like second rate, like second rate HBO action kind of
Okay.
like, but it
So
has Sylvester
Showtime.
Stallone.
Yeah.
But it has Sylvester Stallone, so it's kind of. But yeah, just I don't know.
Yeah. How is he
But I
doing?
mean, very entertaining. I mean, it's very entertaining. I thought, but it's
Just
also
ridiculous.
you can kind of tell like, okay, this is not really that special, except that they're marketing it because it came from Tyler Sheridan and it's got Sylvester Stallone in it.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, yeah. What about that show, Your Honor? Everyone's talking about that on
I've
Netflix.
never seen that. Yeah, I've never seen it.
It's Bryan Cranston. I kind of feel like I'm against him a little bit after his treatment at Ace. Like I will turn on a motherfucker.
I'm
What's it?
I think he's a good. I try to like keep him in like he's an actor territory.
Right.
He's like in that category, actor category. He's good
Yeah,
at
that him
playing a
feeling like
judge.
he
He's good at
could write
playing
a
a
letter to
general.
Adam like you should be a certain kind of way. Like I just feel like, wow, that's
Yeah,
bold.
that's embarrassing.
That's bold.
he should be embarrassed for that. That's okay.
Yeah, a million
That's
percent. A million percent. So
yeah.
gross. What a gross human. Ugh.
Yeah, that was real that was real condescending.
Right?
But
Gosh
again,
dang
like he's
it.
really good at playing like he's good at like playing a general in like a Godzilla movie. He's
Yeah,
playing
I
good at
was just
playing
about
like
to
a
bring that
neurotic,
up.
like a neurotic scientist in another movie,
For
Hmm.
or
sure. For
like
sure.
a high school
No, he's
teacher
a great actor. You're right.
turned
Yeah.
meth chemist, like.
Yeah. That was a great series. Kind of
But
even watched that when
I
she was
just
in high school.
Ace's mistake is not keeping him in that territory, in that category. Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
thinking that like we're gonna be friends. Like, okay.
Yeah. Who was the Ruben guy that was on? He really likes Adam. I love that. I
Dave
love that
Rubin.
relation. I love that relationship. I love it so much.
Dave
I
Rubin,
love
yeah,
when
he's
he's
pretty
on.
good.
Yeah. I love
He's
when he's
pretty
on.
good. I
He
don't mind him.
genuinely likes Adam. You can tell he genuinely likes him as a person, which is
The only
nice.
thing I'm not crazy about with Dave Rubin is like, and he was one of the first, but like there's a lot of those kind of guys. Like their story is they were just a devout Democrat liberal lemming,
Right.
follower for their whole lives until like a few years ago.
Sure.
And then when they did that, now I think I'm not saying he's not genuine, but it's like, but when they decided to like not be a lemming, things
Right.
really took off for them. Like I didn't know who
Right.
Rubin wasn't before he was a former liberal, right? Because that's his whole
Right.
thing is like he's a former
Okay.
liberal, a recovering liberal, whatever.
Hmm.
Like I had no idea who
Gotcha.
the fuck he was when that at that point. Like he had no show. But
Yeah.
now, like that kind of storyline has proven to be profitable. And again, not saying he's not genuine, but it's
I
like,
think Adam's probably a former liberal too, so maybe that's why they like each other, right?
yeah, yeah, maybe. Adam, I mean, I think Ruben's probably a little bit ahead of him. Like, Ruben, has a lot more like long form interviews with like, I don't know, intellectuals or, whatever
Right,
conventional wisdom intellectuals. So
for sure.
Hmm.
Adam has
Yeah,
those guys on, but he kind of does a lot of, and he kind of breaks a lot of things down to analogies.
yeah,
That's a skill. That's his skill. Like that's his like skill to
yeah,
like translate these big things from, Dennis Prager and those guys to like everyone,
Hmm.
right.
everyone,
Yeah,
in really, really good analogies. And um, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. It's a good ecosystem.
yeah.
So, what
But
did you
Dave
think
Rubin's
of?
good. Yeah, I like him.
Oh, I want to know what you think about Ace going to see Paula Abdul.
it's
Since we're on the subject of Ace Man.
Oh,
I mean, it's just like, come on. I
it's
guess you just
funny,
have to
right,
accept
though?
it. Yeah.
He's so miserable. I can't imagine having that beautiful girlfriend, failed
Is
marriage,
he though?
and just,
Or
but
is he
I
miserable, you
mean,
think?
I think he enjoyed himself. I mean,
I
he
don't
even
know.
clarified that he thinks that, like, she's talented choreographer, but not like a singer
Did
type.
you hear him talking about being in New York City and like the police cars like being aggravated? I think that
No.
I know I live with someone who has that sort of Asperger's, and it's like when they're hyper focused on something, like it's literally like it's so hyper focused. So
I think Ace lives through those, like lives through it in like comedic moments or like is I don't do you think Adam is always on? You know what I mean? Like
I don't
he
know.
huh?
You had Lynette on the show. We should get her back on. I have questions.
Yeah,
I have,
maybe.
I have some girl
But like because
questions.
it's like that's kind of a tough thing. And like if you're always on, then you're just always like looking at every experience through like what's funny about this. And you are at the same time
Right.
you're compartmentalizing, you are also checking off boxes like my girlfriend is enjoying this, and this means a lot to her. And you're kind of checking off those boxes, but you're not really feeling them. You know,
Yeah.
you're you're acknowledging them, and you're like intellectually experiencing them, but you're not really feeling. I don't know.
Yeah. I am glad that
Happens.
he's having more experiences though. I feel like, he always used to talk about like the Catalina Island thing and like all of the experiences that Lynette was having with the kids, which when you're a mom and you're a stay-at-home mom, like you do have a lot of experiences without your husband. That's very common. It's not unheard of, even though everybody makes it sound like it's the worst thing that's ever happened in the world. But I just I just wonder if like you said, you had mentioned in the chat, like if he had given 1/4 of that energy to like his marriage to like, just have some experiences, maybe take a weekend off
Mm-hmm.
to not be traveling around. But I just feel like he loves it,
Well, they
right?
also
I don't know. Well, yeah, I did say that. Yeah, like I don't know if it was possible for them to do that. Like, because I don't know the way
Right.
Adam would talk and like I don't.
Was it a
They were just kind of
money issue that
they were just
he
like
couldn't
living
take a weekend
separate,
off?
or maybe he just didn't. Maybe I don't know. Like maybe you regret it because you're just like I should have that because that would have been fun. Like I could have been doing that, but
Yeah.
it just didn't feel like. I mean, sometimes that happens in relationships. It's just like it's like when if you're old enough and you watch Cheers and Sam and Diane and all those shows, those TV
Yeah.
romances that never were like, will they, won't they? It's like you're just like, you should have,
Right.
you should have done it. You should have done this. You should have seen it this way, and they didn't.
Yeah.
But it's like it's just what
I think
happens.
sometimes you're
And
also better after, like maybe you just experience life different. Like when you see what
sure,
you,
yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. Plus, yeah, whatever. Divorce is
Well, I mean,
weird.
part of it is like if you have a female partner or partner that like is just trying to like is better at getting you to do things than another. Like I don't know. Like,
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
It was just more of like, hey, we're gonna do this. I got these tickets, and kind
Right.
of shows like maybe shows a little bit more leadership, maybe, or
Right.
I don't
Yeah.
know. But at the
No,
same time,
Lynette
it's
is
like
a
I think Ace
professed
is,
no
yeah.
getter. She calls herself a no getter.
Mm.
Like, it's an interesting confession, but yeah, just like doesn't really have like the energy to like
What
pursue
the,
things like that.
and I think at the same time, Ace probably was like, and I'm totally projecting now because of my own life relationships. Ace is probably just like, I shouldn't have to like ask you to come along to this
Yeah.
2 night show I'm doing in this cool town. Like
Right.
y'all like I feel weird because I feel like you should be
Well, you know too, though, that
like
twins are
you all
probably
should
overwhelming
be. Yeah, exactly. Like
better than
yeah,
anyone.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
for the mom, probably
yeah.
so overwhelming that like how am I gonna travel?
Mm.
Like I'm
Like in
literally
his
have two
mind,
brand new humans that are, you know,
that's true. Yeah, in the male mind, you're just like, why aren't these people? Why isn't she excited to like follow me around or whatever? It's like, but yeah,
yeah.
and on the other side, it's like, why doesn't he understand that I need to rest and
Yeah. Plus a
feed these damn
girlfriend is
kids?
always gonna be more excited that, you know what I mean? Like it just I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah, also, maybe it's and it's
I'm
he's
happy for him though.
changing
I'm
to where
so
it's
happy
like,
that he's happy. I'm like everybody talks, not everybody, but one person in particular talks about how good she takes care of him. But I've heard that from other people before. It was
yeah,
so
that's
talked
good.
about in our group. And that makes me happy that someone's making him sandwiches and cooking for him and, making his life a little bit, you know,
Yeah, that's
feel
real good.
special. Yeah.
I like
So
a world where I criticize the ace band a little bit, but for the most part, yeah, he's the man. He's the man. I like a world where
yeah,
he's
you're gonna
rich,
start trolling him,
rich and
right? Are you
happy
ready?
until he answers me about his raising money for RFK Jr.
Yeah.
RFK
Yeah.
Jr. came out this week with the standard, nothing new, but like the standard liberal America is just a racist country proclamation about like
Right.
systemic racism is real and it's everywhere and it's out to get everybody and it's everywhere. It's jails, it's this, it's that. It's everywhere. It's in your foundation of your home.
It's
It's in your
so sad
water.
that the DNC didn't let him go because he is literally like there. He did a tweet or a TikTok saying, "Hey, DNC, oh, the DNC doesn't have a candidate. I'm here." And he said, "My number, give me a call. My number is on the internet. I guess his number has been released." So
It is kind of a
it's kind of
sad
they
it
fucked
does tell
him.
us
They
something
super
about
fucked
our
him
society. Yeah. Well, I mean, it was more like
because they knew
they
he would
didn't
have won the
they
nomination.
never they didn't really fuck him because they were just like, you're never gonna get like we're never gonna even take our clothes off. Like you're never even gonna get naked. Like we're not even
I
gonna
think
bother
that he
drugging you
has
or like Bill
more.
Cosby.
I think he has more people than you think. Because I think that a lot of Democrats consider him like a Kennedy. So they do, and if they're scared of Joe Biden, like I feel like he could
Oh,
be
I'm
this
saying
scary
my thing
contender.
is like that without even communicating about it, the Democrats and the Republicans are both just like, no, 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 we can't let this guy fucking come around on the
Right.
stage like mouthing off like no, 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 no.
Yeah.
Like
Well, I think
we
they didn't
can't
let him
like
on the
both
debate stage
parties.
because it's that
Yeah,
debate was funded by Pfizer. And I think that he talks about big pharma, he talks about vaccine injury. And I feel like that's why he wasn't there. Like it's like a bigger picture. I don't think it had to do with
yeah. He's
Trump
just
or Biden. I think it had to do with Pfizer.
that. I mean, it just
You
comes
know?
to, it really comes down to at that my in my opinion um in politics, God, like predictability is God. Like in politics, like
Yeah.
predictability. Like everything is
Sure.
about predictability. And like Republicans don't want that RFK Jr. predictability because it's just like, oh, we're not really quite sure how he's gonna like take independence away from Trump, or he's gonna trick enough people to think that he's, like a centrist or something.
Yeah.
And the Democrats are just like, yeah, we know our guys, like, brain is broken. We cannot have like a, like a Democrat, whatever, whether he's running as that or not. We can't have him anywhere near this. So I think
Yeah.
that's just more of a damning, conviction of our political system, that both parties would unite, both parties and the media, everybody in the entire, American political system that needs predictability was just like, no, 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 this guy can't.
Yeah.
This guy can't.
Ugh.
This guy cannot get anywhere. Like, he needs to be on podcasts. Like, everybody, like, let everybody do his, like, let him on your podcast, but that's as far as he goes.
I don't know. I don't
Like,
know. I know I understand your thoughts and position about him, and I agree with almost all of it. But I think that he has an alarming number of people that are swaying in his favor. So
maybe
we'll see.
now. Well,
Yeah,
maybe, I mean, again, yeah, that's again why they didn't want him anywhere near a debate.
for sure.
Is because they didn't, like, they knew, like, eventually people are going to find out that Biden is you know brain is dead, or
He's
he's a
not doing
a six he's a
okay.
six he's a 6 hour a day president.
Bro, what the hell?
um
Oh,
and like, and he would be just a viable alternative. Like, I mean, it's exactly what they did to Bernie. Like, it's like this kind of, these things just get forgotten in history, that in
no, they
2016 Bernie
don't. They
Sanders
just,
probably, well, they just get side noted, even though they were like, even though the fact that the Democrat Party, completely hosed and screwed Bernie Sanders over with the
so
super
hard.
delegates and all that stuff, like,
So hard.
that just kind of, that fact just kind of gets side noted, or like, like at the bottom of the page, like, oh, by the way,
Yeah.
yeah, by the way, this thing that was like massive in the whole story is like, that did happen. Like, but at the time they said it wasn't happening, so they can't really.
It's like Ace says though,
Yeah,
that like that's all you remember is the
yeah,
flash
exactly.
news. They never the retraction of no, that didn't happen. Never ever
Yeah.
gets published. It's never
Well, you
as
just remember that
loud.
Hillary won. You don't remember that the superdelegate stuff and the
Sure.
CNN and Roland Martin and Donna
Oh
Brazile
my gosh,
cheating
yeah.
with the questions
Yeah.
and all that.
Ugh,
I always love that. I get a lot of likes on Twitter when I go after Roland Martin for that, because whenever it
yeah.
comes up, Donna Brazile, she always comes up as the person because she got fired.
Yeah.
Like, Roland Martin didn't. Like, he was definitely he was involved in that whole thing, and he just kind
Yeah.
of skated along. The
So
black woman
crazy.
lost her job.
Yeah.
She basically, lost her job over it. He just kind of skated along under the radar, kept his gig going.
Toxic masculinity.
Of course, that's because I think he got me too'd off CNN before that.
Uh yeah. I used to watch CNN. That was my station.
I
Isn't that
remember back when I
crazy?
was like in my early 20s, and my roommates would watch the damn OJ trial on CNN. You remember those days? It's when
Yeah,
Greta Van Susteren was
sure.
like just in everybody's living room every day.
Right, right.
But yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, I think the first Iraq war, CNN had, like, that was the channel. I'm not even sure
Hmm.
Fox News existed yet,
Exactly. I don't think it did.
but they had a guy in a
There
hotel
was,
room with a British accent. It's like, just telling us what was going on.
yeah. When you think about how the media has lied to us in the past 4 years, well, since 2014 when Obama passed his propaganda thing, but if like really concentrated in the last 4 years, when you think about how much they've lied to us, it opens up so many like things that like were they lying then? Was that not true? Did that not happen? Was that to cover up something else that was like I hate that there's no like clear source of actual news. And if there is, like they should try and shut it down or I don't know. I'm
I
grateful
mean,
for
I
things
get,
like Substack, I guess, that people
yeah,
can
it's
get
true.
their words out or
Yeah. I think I feel like it's something like the whatever misinformation, disinformation, that's always propaganda. That's always been happening.
Yeah.
And maybe I'm biased because it's like I don't know what you call that, but like the main character or like living now, like, like everything now is the best and the greatest and the worst and the most and everything because it's now,
Yeah.
because it's me and I'm experiencing it. So, like Tom
Sure.
Brady must be the best because I'm alive now and I watched it.
Of
Like,
course.
whereas people
Yeah.
that were alive 40 years ago, they think someone else was, because they watched it then.
Yeah.
Well, like
Bridge.
maybe I'm biased, but like it does feel like uh the scale of it, the scale of the bullshit and the capabilities of it, the strength and power of it, um, from the scale, just are out of control to the point where people starting to feel like they know nothing,
Yeah.
and that
That's
people are
propaganda.
starting
That's
to
how propaganda
feel
works, right?
like it's just we're 10 years away from people being like saying things like, the H word during World War II didn't happen. Like, I mean, they're
Yeah.
already saying that, but it's like instead of fringe people saying it, like weirdos on the History Channel
Yeah.
that are like, mocked. It's just like everyday people, just like more and more
Sure.
everyday people just saying these. I mean, and if someone's hearing this, they'll probably say that's happening now. But yeah, it
Yeah.
is. It's what we're talking about. It's just ramping up.
Well, that's the
Um,
thing. Like, if there's all these lies, like which one is true? Which if they're
None of them are true if they're all lies.
well, that's the thing though, like once you've been lied to, which we have been lied to about things, like
Hmm.
you have to question every other truth. Like
Maybe that's
it's a very
why
weird time to be alive right now. It's like all of the
I
things
think you're
are in
right.
question, everything.
You're right, and I think maybe that's why, like, with all the conspiracy theories that I'm talking to you, Manny. I'm just kidding. Like all the, all
Yeah.
the conspiracies are coming thick and fast at everybody all the time. I do reject. I just tried like to kind of, I have like a kind of a, like a defense system to reject most of them
No, I
because it's like at
appreciate
some point,
that. I
like
do.
you really can't,
You really put me in my
you know,
place sometimes. I appreciate
that's not true.
it.
That's a terrible way to put it.
No, you're right
But
about
like you can't
Tucker said that Joe Biden was a body double, and you're like,
like
I
that's the
love your
best one
take
they
on
got.
that.
Like how hard was it to find like a slightly less
I
senile
was laughing so hard. I was like, oh my God, he's so right. Fucking
one?
asshole.
I love it. I love it because it's like I've been thinking about for like 2 days straight. I've been thinking about the intern that was assigned to get the body double, but like
Yeah.
not a spry one. Like, do you realize how many old MFers that the interns would have to talk to and interview around the country in nursing? They'd have to tour like thousands of nursing homes to find an old man that kind of looked like Joe Biden, but was like slightly more with it. Like for it to be convincing. Because it wouldn't be convincing if he came out there and was like doing like skateboard tricks.
Right.
But
He's
then
got
what
to
you
he's got
said
to come
about
out.
then what you said about the you give one like meth and the other sedative.
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh no. Oh, you're right. I'm sorry. You're right. That's right. And that one, I came around to your theory that there is a body double. I forgot about my own great idea. There is a body double. They did find one. Good job, interns. And for the real Joe Biden, they give him uppers, and then the body double, they give him downers, sedatives, and then they just figure out which one is. They figure out which one is best. He's supposed to. That's why we get such varying versions of him, like
One
different
has blue
versions of.
eyes and one has brown eyes. TikTok has cracked that code. I'll tell
Yeah,
you right now.
one's got like
Literally,
some baggy
one has.
skin thing, like. But I mean, it's like at the same time, it's like I really like. Do I want to know if it's a body double? Yes. Do I really want to get into like studying the folds and like an old man's neck? No, I don't. I don't want to look at that at all. I really wish you'd stop sending us pictures of the folds in Joe Biden's neck,
I
Quan.
can't help it. I'm sorry. If I have to see it, you do too.
Like, what is this? I don't
No.
know what it is. I don't want to look at it anymore.
Don't.
Okay, I'm
The
gonna start
dude's like,
posting those in the group then. I'm just gonna be like, look, if I have to see this, you do too.
whatever muscles that holds up his
Fuck the
ear are
group
just starting
chat.
to
It's
melt,
going into the group.
like sides of his cranium are starting to melt down into his neck. Like,
Yeah, because it's a mask. Remember the lady that went in and spoke to one of the bushes with full face
I thought you were
mask
gonna say,
on, and
I thought you were gonna say Total Recall, where Arnold Schwarzenegger had that lady's face on sheet. Never mind. You've seen them.
too.
Yeah.
Oh my
Anyway.
gosh.
Oh, that's I forgot. Like what I learned from Joe Biden last night was that whenever I'm on this podcast and I lose my train of thought. Anyway, look,
Anyway, whisper.
it's a
The
combination.
whisper. The whisper makes
Watch.
me so mad.
Yeah. So yeah, this so I don't want to hear anything about that. Whatever they were talking. Anyway, look. Anyway, look.
Yep. Yeah.
I gotta.
Yep.
Anyway. They kept saying, like, people were noticing that. I love it. It
There was
feels
like
very,
87 of them.
it's very
There was a
validating
lot
that
of them.
everyone else, yeah, everybody, I was like, does he keep saying anyway a lot? And I go online, it's like, he keeps saying anyway.
So he just wants to brush
It's like-
everything aside.
it's like
Anyway,
There's a Twitter account. There's a Twitter account called Joe Biden's Anyway Counter.
Yeah.
Which is like going up, and up. Anyway.
Guys. Anyway.
Well, he did hurt a little black girl's feelings, so
Oh
that's
my
another
God, that
concern.
makes me so sad, Manny.
It really does. That
Gosh,
makes me angry. Like that like
her
really,
face. Oh my
that makes
God, I
me
wanna hug
really
her.
angry.
I'm so
I know.
yeah. I don't like that one bit.
I don't like seeing people get hurt like that. Like
I
that
don't
was
like
fucking
It was so
that was like-
weird.
but then, at the same time, people will say, racism is still alive in this country, which is like whatever. And it's like, no, well, actually it is in in Joe Biden's DNA. It's like- in Joe Biden's conscious
He
DNA.
He hates them. Literally.
Well,
I
don't
saw
know. Do we share
on
it in the group?
TikTok,
But
on TikTok, they keep showing people, they call it the Joe Biden mixtape, or the Joe Biden, some Joe Biden, whatever. But they're like
There's
black
so
people wearing
many.
there's black people wearing headphones, and they're listening to like all of the horrible things he said over time in Millennium about black people.
yeah.
It's like,
Really?
oh, it's so sad. Yes.
It's really wild
I
because
don't think
between
that
him
people
and
knew that. I don't think that people knew that. So I think that they are like, yeah, they're making fun of it. But I think that also a lot of people are learning for the first time that he doesn't care about us. He doesn't care.
I'll admit that, like, in my younger days, like I had very much the same mentality about like just throw fucking everybody in jail, throw them in jail, prison. But I didn't know, right? I didn't know I wasn't a U.S. senator. But between Joe Biden, the president of the United States, and the vice president Kamala Harris, like,
yeah,
these two in their illustrious careers have kept prisons busy and full, like kept prisons busy, like
for sure.
kept those private prisons busy.
How
These
is
two,
that even
like,
a thing?
really.
How is that even a thing?
And they'll be like
Thanks.
Donald Trump
Bill Clinton.
said racist things about the Central Park Five back in 1980, whatever, when there were
Everybody
like,
did. They were
yeah,
convicted.
exactly.
Like,
Yeah, well,
yes.
I mean, now we know, like, obviously different story, but
Right.
like they're just like, yeah, he was like kind of mouthing off like everybody was back then in 1983 in the suburbs, like all across
They
America.
had to bring
if you wanna be honest with you.
Giuliani to get the crime down. Like the crime was rampant. Yes. If all of these things are happening in front of your house and you can't say that they're back then, you could say what was happening in front of your house, right? Now we can't say it. Now we're like, oh, can't hurt anyone's feelings. But back then,
Yeah.
you could say what you saw, and that's what was happening in New York. That's why they
Yeah, I'm just
started with the
saying, like,
stop and frisk. It
like
was out of control, right?
Donald
I
Trump
imagine
said some
that.
stuff. Like he said some stuff, right? But he said some stuff. Like the stuff that Donald Trump said when he was fucking, 38 years old, like didn't put anybody in jail.
I haven't
Like
seen anything about that. What
Biden.
did he say?
Oh, I mean, just typical stuff. Like, well, I mean, I'm saying that they make a big deal out of he wanted like the Central Park Five death. Like, I don't know what he was saying. I honestly don't remember, but I remember it was like
Right.
it was just kind of negative and it was wrong.
Yeah.
Right? It was just everybody, like a lot of people got it wrong.
Isn't it wrong
But
in
like it was also
hindsight though? Because at the time there was no question about what it was, right?
well, no, the detectives railroaded these young kids. These were all
I
minors.
understand that, but
Like
they all got convicted, right? Like what everybody knew,
I
the
think
only facts that
yes, but
everybody knew
some of
were the
them,
ones that they were
I think they were
bad. It
eventually
got turned,
overturned.
of course,
Like
but yeah, sorry, I'm not making
you
excuses.
don't
I haven't heard it.
like the cops, like you can tell that something didn't go right when the cops are like kind of like quietly fired and like
Yeah.
it's like they're not going to go get thrown in
Oh,
prison
okay.
for railroading kids, but they're like
Yeah.
the police department was like, y'all need to go away now. Like just
That I there was also the white one though. Remember the Memphis? What was the Memphis one with those three boys and one of them was like a little bit slow and they had them
yeah, I mean
for
my
like
my only point
hours and
was like
hours.
whatever Trump did say
Yeah.
wasn't a
It's
wasn't
nothing
like
compared to the
wasn't like
Biden
putting on the
heroes.
hood at a rally or something like that. Whatever he did say is like
Yeah.
was a very common thing, but they play it up like, oh my God, did you hear that what Trump said about these kids in 40 freaking years ago? Whereas like
Biden like supported like
they never
the
talk about Joe
KKK
Biden's
guy.
career. Like they never talk about laws Joe Biden passed to put people in prison for years for like a little bag of crack or something.
Yeah.
They don't talk about Kamala Harris and how she made a name for herself as a tough prosecutor and a DA, throwing
Right.
uh throwing white collar criminals in prison for financial crimes. No, the exact opposite.
Yeah.
Throwing black men in prison for, like whatever,
Yeah.
inner city crimes, like
Yeah.
wrecking lives. So no one ever talks
He
about that, but they
is.
talk about what Donald Trump said about, that in the
Yeah.
80s. But he's
They
coming
don't talk
back.
about
He's
what he
coming back.
did, the first one to have black people in country clubs. They don't talk about that. No one mentions that.
Yeah, I mean,
Don't talk about
there's not a lot of there on that kind of stuff. There's just not a lot of
yeah.
there. There's too many people of color, of different backgrounds,
Think of all the
um,
employees he's
that
had
have good things to
at
say.
all, and no, there's not a bunch of employees coming out like he's racist. Like think of all the buildings and people that Donald Trump has signed their check, whether it's a stamp or whatever,
Mhm.
that are
I
people
mean,
of
again,
color
like
that have nothing to say about his racism.
I like Donald
It's
Trump.
weird.
I don't like Donald Trump. Not a big fan because he is some saint or flawless person. I like him because I think he's the closest we got to a regular person that's could could take the position of president and leader of the free world. Close as we get to like a regular
Well, we have
person.
4 years of proof. So I mean, I'm just like it's like when everybody's screaming, "Oh, he's not going to leave office." Hello, we have proof that he will leave office. Like, what are we talking about? It's so crazy,
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and
stupid.
also like you
So
can say like, I mean, okay, you can say Donald Trump, well, his daddy gave him half a billion dollars in properties and he just used that and parlayed that into billion, like a lot more. It's
yeah.
like, okay. I mean, okay, well then what did Joe Biden do?
Well,
Work his way up at the fucking steel mill? No. He ran
no,
for
he got
Senate when he
millions
was in
from
his
Burisma.
20s. Well, even that he came from an affluent family. He was a senator by the time he was like in his 20s, like
Right.
26 or 29, and he hasn't done a freaking damn he's never produced a thing in his life. Like
Yeah.
never done anything. Like
I love all the
never
lies too. Like no one talks about all the lies. Remember when he said that like he got dropped off in a neighbor, like he had to walk past black people, but the school, like everything that he says has like a little bit of not truth in it.
Oh,
Just
everything he says
weird.
is like it's like that sounds like a Andy Griffith show episode.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, we had this crazy, assistant, deputy sheriff into town. His name was Barney. Barney Fife. Yeah, no relation. Yeah. Anyway,
Anyway.
Look, 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 look.
What about the whispering? And I want to talk about his daughter, like the like
Anyway, but it does. I mean, it does. It works. Like, anyway, look, and you're just like,
it
what are you looking
does.
at?
Oh,
Like,
for sure.
and you say like, anyway, look, look, look,
It just, I
and
mean,
you just trail off, and it's like, again, as a podcaster, it's like not a big deal.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
president of the United States, little
right.
Kind of a big deal.
not cool,
Oh, it's
not
so
not good,
scary.
not ideal.
Yeah. My daughter today was over and she's, in her 20s and just like her saying, "Did you hear that?" And I was like, "Yeah." And like I don't even think she has a concept of how scary it is. Like this is like the world is watching. It's not just like, oh, some gaff on, is it what wasn't it called GIF? Was it called GIF before? Now it's gaff.
I don't think
Anyways,
so.
whatever. It's like this is really
It used to
happening
be
and the
called
world is
Jiffy. Now it's
watching.
called GIF.
Here we go.
Yes.
No, but she
Exactly.
showed you an image of what?
No, it's the. I mean, I just keep thinking like my son asked me if World War III was going to happen. Like this is
Oh,
like a month ago, and
sorry.
I can't
That's
stop
so
thinking
sad.
about that because I'm like, man, that's really fucked up because in 1984 I was 12, right? My son's 12. In 1984 I was 12, and that was like the height of the Cold War, and all the movies were about nuclear war. The Day After, War Games, like it's just everything. Like it was very clear in all facets of American society that it was like we were in a Cold War. It was U.S. versus Russia.
Yeah. That's what I told
Um,
Kylie. That's exactly what I told
like,
Kylie today.
and then when my son asked me that, I'm just like, God damn, like that's damning, like damning to all the grown-ups of the last 30, 40 years, like myself included.
Mm-hmm.
Like, um, what failures. Like this generation of Americans, again, like just total failures. Like, I mean, maybe multiple generations, maybe it spans just a total failures in that regard. Like I was worried about World War III when I was 12 in 1984, and that's 2024. My son's 12, and he's asking questions
Also,
about it. And
yeah,
it's against the same foes. It's not against like the fucking aliens, it's not
no,
against like that latest planet that came to attack us,
yeah,
it's against the same people. And
yeah.
I thought we beat them. We beat them.
Are
We
his
beat them in the
school
90s.
is his is the school
We beat
making
Russia in the
them
90s.
like, because my fear came from us having to hide under the desk. Like my mom wouldn't have been, my mom was like drug addict. Like she wasn't talking about war or peace or anything. So my fear came from what the school was like making us go under the desk and like kind of be ready for it. You know what I mean? So that's where
We
my
didn't
fears came
do
from.
we didn't do desks where I was in Baltimore, probably because it was just, we're gonna be the first strike target.
Oh, wow. Okay.
uh
Yeah. California
you
had us
know,
under the desk. We had to do drills
but
under the desk probably once every other week or so.
I gotta think in schools now they just avoid that. They're
The
more like
conversation.
it's more like a school shooter alert, not like a nuclear
Yeah.
bomb, like a
Okay.
school shooter. So yeah,
Because New
that's
York
a
is
whole
like
nother level of
doing
sad.
PSA commercials about like if it happens, like go inside, shut your doors, don't go out for 3 days. Like it's just, like weird, like okay, sure. Yeah, that's what we'll do.
Just, I mean, and maybe he doesn't have the same level of worry I have because I remember, back in the 80s, like if you just watch TV, there weren't a lot of shows, but if you watch Nightline, you would routinely see those videos, maybe fake, of like, this is what happens when a nuclear
Maybe.
explosion goes off in a fake town with fake wooden people propped up and like
Yeah.
fake houses built. You saw a
Yeah,
lot of that when I was a kid. We saw a lot of that stuff,
for
and I got to
sure.
say, it was pretty scary. Like
Yeah.
that was pretty scary. Like I remember thinking, look, that was like scarier to me than any movies that were out there, like Planet of the Apes,
Ugh,
like that, like really getting like incinerated, like those in
mm,
those videos.
yeah.
You're like, as your mom's doing the laundry, like they show in those
Yeah,
houses, like, getting incinerated by a nuclear blast. Like that was way
Yeah.
more scary than any of the
for
movies like
sure.
Poltergeist or, yeah, to me. And then just like, I don't think my kid is at that level of scared because again, they don't show that, or
Yeah.
it's more like you got to be scared about the crazy guy that wants to shoot up the place. But it just pisses me off that he even asked that question. And then and I just thought like, damn, it's against the same foe.
It is.
That's just a
It's
failure.
always been about the same foe.
Yeah.
Like we couldn't even like, well, I mean, in Red Dawn, the first Red Dawn was the Russians.
Mm-hmm.
The second Red Dawn was the North Koreans, I think,
Right.
or the China, some Asian, but
Well,
like they even thought like, let's mix it up.
sure.
But in the real world, just like, nah, let's just keep it the same. Like, cause everybody's like, everybody's got like the Red Scare, like the Ruskies. We already got these nicknames
It's
all
so
made up,
crazy, right? And then you see that Indian, what was his name? Something Bear, the bear hugging Putin. Like they've made Putin out to be this
Oh yeah, Modi. Yeah.
Modi.
Well,
Modi's,
that's another, like we were talking about, like I don't think people realize how outnumbered we are as Americans. Like I know we are awesome, and I think Trump is going to come back, and the world is going to get America AF again, as I said. But like if he
America
doesn't,
again.
we're very outnumbered. Like if the
Yeah.
Chinese 1.5 billion and the Indians 1.5 billion are just like, maybe we
That's
should
like
become best
3 billion,
friends.
man.
Yeah. They're just like, maybe we should become best friends, and like we should just start trading, like because we've been a lot closer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like maybe we should just become like, we should just like pair up and just have our economies just go nuts because we just have tons of people. Like Americans, they only have like, at any given time, they only got like 150, 200 million decent consumers. But
Yeah.
like between India and China, 3 billion people, then they suck up Russia
Yeah.
and Asia and other Asian countries. And it's just like,
Game over, man.
hey, like, oh man,
Mm,
all these people that don't really look like us are kind of
yeah.
a
I
whole
think
lot of
every
them,
day,
and
like
they're
you
and they're
said,
starting to call the shots. They're not going to attack us. They're going to start calling the shots. They're just going to start calling the shots, and we're not going to call the shots anymore.
yeah,
And it's just
gosh
numbers.
dang
It's
it.
pure numbers.
That's all it's
Crazy
always
time to be
So
alive.
yeah, we need to
been.
get Trump back. We need to get some flags going again. We need to get some winning going. We need to get some wars
That
ended.
flags out.
I mean, I don't mean, and whatever. You get some positive propaganda going that we're winning and the
Yeah,
good guys are winning. It's
sure.
time to start focusing on, for everyone, whether you're in Russia or India or America or wherever, it's time for everybody in this whole world to start focusing on priorities, which is your family, your kids, prosperity,
God.
God, family, country, prosperity, your kids, being
Yes.
happy. Like there's so many things in this world to enjoy. Damn.
Yes.
Like
You
YouTube
you know what?
Premium is like $12 a
Every day
month.
might not be good, but there is good in every single day. You have to find the good. You have to seek the light from somebody that was sick for so long. Like you literally have to seek light. You have to find it. If you're having,
Yeah.
yeah,
So I
you
think
have to seek it. There's good in
Get
every
back to
part.
like
There's
yeah, Trump is not perfect. He's not a savior, but I think like he's so foreign to this, like our whole government is just accepted this whole thing where, well, our whole government and our whole like reason for being is just constant conflict because we have to have conflict because if we want to win, the other guy has to lose. And I think Trump is
the
like,
money. It's
Trump
wars
kind of comes
so
at things.
profitable,
Well, no,
right?
Trump comes at things like a businessman where everybody can win. Like this, like these can be, we don't have to destroy, a place to win. Like it can be a win-win,
Hmm.
it like, and it's more, uh, just, it's more viable long term when things like every business deal you've ever been in, it's like if your business is ripping people off to where every deal you do is lopsided, well, it's just you're not going to be in business for long,
Hmm.
or you're going to
That's
have to
true.
be constantly changing or change your
Right,
name or your business
right,
because you get found out. But
right.
it's like we can have a prosperous, peaceful world where there's things happening, but we're like we can. And I think and maybe that's a little idealistic, but I think Trump comes from a world where it's not accepted that everything has to be like I have to win by crushing you.
Right.
Like there can be situations where everybody wins and all boats rise. That's all. I mean, that's my opinion that he has a certain optimism or idealism about what the world can be. Because like if you're going to build a building, you have to be like an optimist in some way that you're going to fill it.
Right.
So whereas in government, it's
And
just like
he's
I'm
the
gonna
only
I'm gonna
one
build a
that's ever
building.
actually run a business. So I mean,
Yeah,
I feel like
in
that,
government, it's just like in government, all it is I have to build the building.
right.
It doesn't matter if it's filled or not. It doesn't matter if it's useful.
Yeah.
What matters is
Yeah.
that I got it. I got the money. I got it built. My name's on it,
Yeah.
and it's like whether that thing I created like creates prosperity or like
Doesn't matter.
multiplies itself. Multiplies
Hmm.
itself in productivity or whatever. Doesn't really matter because my goal was just getting that building built for me or whatever
Yeah.
to but I think if you're again I don't want to talk about the guy like he's some kind of saint, but I think he's the closest thing we got to like a regular person
I think
who
that's the best
thinks
way to
like
put it for now.
who thinks things can be better. Like I always like the way that he talked about China because he'd say like they're eating our lunch, but he'd be like, but hey, like I'm you can't be mad at them. Like you can't really like you can be mad at him. You gotta like do better.
Yeah.
Right.
Like you can't be like, oh, you ate my lunch, you bastards. I want to kill you now. It's like, no, you gotta like up your game
Yeah.
and not
Yeah.
like bitch about it and like make and vilify the people that ate your lunch. But like he would always talk about like for a long like way long decades ago, he would talk about it that way. That we were getting taken advantage of, but he wasn't like demonizing them,
Yeah. There's a lot of
you
footage
know?
of him speaking very just logically about
Yeah.
our country. Lots and lots of footage from the 80s, from the 90s, all kinds of
Yeah.
footage about him talking. So yeah, I think he's always been kind of just has, I don't even know if it's ideas, just like it's logical. Like things that make sense, they make sense. Like drilling in our own country. I mean, it makes sense, right? I mean, they have no
Mm-hmm.
problem mining in our own country for cobalt, which we obviously know is dangerous or whatever because they're doing it in Africa. So, yeah, I don't
I
understand
like
it,
that
but
I like the
he has to with
negotiations.
money.
I like how he negotiates too. I like how like when he talks about build the wall, it wasn't like they're like, oh, you never built though. He never it's like it wasn't about build the
Oh
wall.
no.
Like the
Yeah,
message got through. The message got through to a lot of people and they were just like, not gonna start the journey.
yeah,
Not I'm not gonna like he's gonna build that wall. Like this guy's talking tough. And I think that kind of sends
yeah,
a message to a lot of people and it changes behavior Or
Mhm.
when he says, or people say mass deportations now, in 2025, because we have had like 10 million new illegal immigrants come into our country.
Sure.
I'll tell you, like, I don't really want to see that because that's going to be a rough scene. I
Mhm.
don't know that Donald Trump really wants to see that either because it's going to be a rough scene and he knows it's going to be a lot of like, he's going to take a lot of political heat for like videos of people getting rousted out of their homes and, you know, like thrown
Even
over
if
the
you just took
border.
the ones that were
But
being laid up in fucking airports or police stations, even if you just rallied up those motherfuckers and sent them back to their country to
yeah,
wait,
well, I think that,
you
I
know?
think what happens is those
Jesus
types,
Christ.
well, part of his negotiation is like, well, number one is when he starts saying that, the people, like, the closer it gets to him being in office, the people that need to start the journey don't start the journey. They're like, I'm not, instead of giving the money to the coyote, I'm just going to hold on to it. Like, stay home. Number two,
What if
it's
the
like,
money that they're
you
giving to the
need,
coyotes aren't even from their own pocket, though? What if they're being funded the money to give to the coyotes to come across? I heard a
well,
guy talking.
they
He
just
said that,
decide not to go. They decide, I'm not going to
he,
go because, man, this guy's talking about, because Trump said, is basically saying it's on the table. Like, people need to
right.
know that it's on the table, right? Whereas for the
Yeah.
last 50 years, the whole illegal immigration is kind of like the whole game is like, once you're in, they're never going to round you up. Like,
Yeah.
people need to know that it's on the table. And I think like the
If
people
they
in the
cut off your
airports,
hand for stealing, less people steal. Like,
yeah,
you know
it
what I
does
mean?
work. Yeah.
It's the same as raising a fucking toddler or a puppy. Give them some goddamn
Mm.
consequences. That's how
I think
life
really
works.
when he says mass deportations and it gets closer, like people will deport themselves. That's plain and
Fine.
simple. It's self deportation because it's like,
I
I don't want to live in this airport anymore, especially when I
yeah,
know someone's coming to get me. I'm just going to go home on my own. Like,
sure. I
that's it.
saw
Or and you
a
cut off the money,
border
cut off the free
border
money, cut off the free
patrol
money.
guy saying that he has women and they come across and they have drugs on them, but it's not actual drugs. It's literally morning after pills, like bags of like a big bag of them because they know they're going to be raped so many times coming here that
Jesus.
they take
Yeah, it's
morning
really,
after. Yes, that's insane. It's
it's a
inhumane what
horrible.
they're doing. The missing kids, like it's not even about the 10, it is about the 10 million people that are here, but like the kids and the women and the rape and all of the things that no one is
Yeah.
talking about. They're like, oh, we should just love having them here or welcome me. Like, what about the process? The process, like the laws are in place for the process to work for a reason. Like, just so
I think it's fair to
sad. It's
say
so sad.
the United States is now the head, like, mecca for child trafficking
Yes.
because like people don't like it doesn't matter if it's just a number. Again, it's a numbers thing. When you have so much of something, you're going to have a percentage of bad guys, bad actors, a
Mhm.
percentage of kids that get lost track of, and you're just like, our southern border is like a
70,000
child trafficker's dream.
missing children that went
85,000, I
to
thought.
sponsors through our their parents were like, yes, the sponsor is going
Yeah.
to take my child and it's going to be okay and we'll figure it
United
out.
States United States taxpayers
Lost
have have are basically party to uh
85,000 missing children,
yeah, like, just,
missing
yeah.
migrant children. Ugh, so sad.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of stories about stories, like a lot of official reports, hard news reporting that the kids are given fake information as they're dropped off to say, this is my uncle, this is my uncle in San Antonio, but it's just a cartel person. It's just a criminal. Like, but like, they're very like, And
I
these
wish
are
it was a
interviews.
cartel
These are
person. I
interviews.
picture it as like
Oh yeah.
some
Well,
big,
it's a
fat, disgusting motherfucker that has them in their basement and is doing horrible things to them. Like
well. That's
it
he bought
just
them from the cartel. The cartels
he
like
did.
yeah.
Yes.
The cartels control the. I mean, they're
So
basically
sad.
the distributors, I guess. So they kind of handle the distributors and like the rules for distributing their product, which is kids.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's well, I mean, it's a chaotic situation, so it just creates that because there's so many numbers that I think the border patrol like they've interviewed the agents that say like this is happening, um, and
No one cares.
they're not to check like they don't like the job responsibilities are so compartmentalized that it's no one's job to really verify that the person that this phone number and the address of,
Remember
T.O.
when J-Lo
T.O.
was upset
Jose or
about kids
whatever
in
is like,
cages? Like everybody was posting about kids in cages, like kids in cages, kids in cages. Oh, all the pictures of the kids with like the little silver things over them. I would rather my see my kid on Fox News in a fucking cage than know that he's in some disgusting bastard's basement. Mm, yeah.
yeah, yeah. I mean,
I
this
wish they cared. I wish they cared. I wish anyone cared besides me.
these are the same people that like mock Catholic priests and like as pedophiles, whatever. But like
Right.
but like you gotta realize like a lot of the groups that are picking all these kids up are like Catholic organizations, and they're getting
Yes.
sent to like Catholic, like Catholic run, like whatever kids center, whatever you're going to call them, camps. Um,
It's
for the
unreal. It's
minors, and they're like
so
those are
freaking
not like
horrible.
just those are not atheists. Those are like
It's horrible.
because
It's
those
horrible.
in some ways those are the only
It's
groups that are want
horrible.
they're the only
We
groups
should
that
all
have the
be ashamed.
organization.
Every single American should be ashamed.
Yeah,
That is horrible.
I
How
mean
do you lose 85,000 children? How do you lose them?
that's
How do you
why I'm
lose
like
them? The
it's
foster
not a
system is so
time.
fucked up anyways, but how do you lose that many children?
Yeah, it's really not a time to like make little deals and whatnot. It's time to start talking. It's time, I think, for the country or for the conservative movement, for the Republicans in this country. I've said it before. It's time for them to start taking a real hard right turn. Not because I want this country to be like a hard right country, but because we gotta be better negotiators. Like
Yeah.
we have to demand mass deportations,
I wish they would stand
like
firm.
so
Like
that
the
they would
Democrats are
so they
like,
just
we're
close the
gonna do
border.
this. I wish that Republicans would be like, we're like, this is what we're doing. Like, it's kind of
Well, I think they're
right.
trying to, but they're also, yeah, we'll see. I think Trump's going to win. I do think it's going to be fun, but I do think they're going to put up a fight and try to make it as hard as possible. I already saw it. Like they're already saying that Russians are interfering in the 2024 election. They're really, they're really running this movie again.
I
They're going
love
to
that
run
meme about
the same
the
movie.
12 women that have come against
Oh yeah,
the VP.
yeah.
My
You got to
gosh,
remember
you
that really happened.
guys.
Like
I
this really happened
know. It's funny because it's
when
true.
Trump was elected. When Trump was elected, and he like the shit they put like every cabinet member that he brought up was like even like a guy like that like ran like an innocent pizza chain or something like some guy that was like a CEO of some
My
like
pillow,
American
my
tradition.
pillow guy. He got
Well, yeah,
fucked
like
over.
well, yeah, but like but not even that like because he's an outsider, but like it would be some like person that's been kicking around the government, kicking around like all the like council like economic councils and like economic advisors to the country, just like a very traditional person. But all of a sudden he'd be like, I want this person to be my treasury secretary. And it's like, oh,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but back when this guy was opened his first pizza shop in 1977, he didn't pay the correct overtime rate. Like, he hates workers. Oh,
I
I mean, they just found every little thing to
know.
destroy every single person that to the point where like it's like you would be if you were like good at what you do, you'd be crazy to accept a job with Donald Trump.
I'm listening
Like
to the
in
news talk about
2016,
that 2025 or whatever, Project 2024, whatever the
oh
fuck
yeah,
they're talking
McRib
about.
2025. McRib's
So,
coming back. They're bringing back McRib Project 2025. Hashtag project.
oh, I can't. Like, what? It's like because they say that it is like this is the talking point because they say it. Like it's just because they say it.
It
I
might
just
be a
don't know
sign of
how to answer.
Republicans. It could be a time of Republicans getting smarter because it's like, hey, you know, what we should do. We should make up this list of things we want to do that's like super basic. That's like super boring and basic. That's like stuff that we've always wanted to do that should won't really be a surprise, but we should give it like a hashtag scary name. Because then when the Democrats like when they get desperate, they'll be like, "Oh my God, the Republicans are have a hashtag scary name,
Why
Project
don't people see
2025."
though that like when everybody is saying the exact same thing, like everybody has seen that viral clip of all of the news all over the entire country saying the exact same thing. It starts with two people and it goes to like 300 people saying the exact same words. Why don't they see that this is
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
that?
yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah.
it is. If I have a few people that I
Yeah,
follow,
do
and the
people not
second
have
that they
like a
start saying the things, I'm like, oh, this is the new thing. Like, because
yeah?
they're in it. This is the new
There's
thing.
are we the only ones? I mean, I'm never not, but like, are we the only ones that like when all of a sudden overnight everyone is saying the same thing? Like, are we? Is no one else like bumped by that? Remember, like the best thing.
You talked about going to
I try
sleep
to
and
tell my son
waking
about
up,
this.
and that like we're not like in a war. Like when I go to sleep and I wake up and we have a brand new thing, like it's just like a brand new fucking thing. Everyone's talking about it. Like maybe, maybe. Oh Lord,
Yep.
weird time to be alive. Anyways,
Anyway, anyway, look,
I gotta work
look.
my
Anyway,
voice is
anyway,
too high.
you got to be like, well, it's hard for a woman because you got to be like old man, like almost like old man creepy, like when
Ugh.
you want to be creepy, but not in like a, but in a vague way. Like
His
anyway,
whisper,
any
his whisper makes me
anyway,
mad in a way that like I want to fight somebody. When he starts whispering, I like like I go crazy. I literally go
yeah.
crazy. I yell. Like why is he
Anyway,
so
look,
horrible?
guess
I
what?
know.
Guess
What?
what? I forgot what I was gonna say.
No one
That's
say.
what,
And his teeth are
it's like,
like clicking around in his mouth. You know what? I had breakfast. I go have breakfast with my father-in-law who's 86 years old and he's a character. He's a full-blown character. He lives on his own. He takes care of all of his own stuff. I've told you stories about him before.
takes care of his own
But
stuff, own needs, whatnot,
yeah, his own needs for
own,
sure.
own activities,
He dials up
gets
hookers.
himself where he needs to be.
He's off
He's
the
very
hookers now.
social. He's very social for his age. Likes to get out and meet new people.
He said he had a giant, like a 250-pound black woman come over the other day for he pays them
All right, all right.
$300.
Man's living his
I mean,
best
I
life.
hope. I mean,
Anyways.
yeah, I'm not imagining they're going to pay him.
Yeah,
I mean, but that wouldn't that be a fucked up? Wouldn't that be a bizarre world?
yeah.
Well,
Maybe more bizarre than it
he's
already
the only
is.
one servicing. Let's just say that. He's the giver of the services that they're receiving. Anyway,
He needs to come on for like a 4 hour episode and get the story of his life. What happened?
Vietnam, like literally captured like in a what
Oh,
are they?
okay.
Yeah, like full on, all of it. Navy ship. He has so many great stories. Like charming fellow. Anyways, I had
Yeah, in
breakfast
that
with
case, he
him.
should get a pass. He should get a pass or something. You know
Oh,
what I mean?
and that's what he says. He's like he's had two wives die on him. He's like, what? Why are you judging me? Like I
Yeah.
can afford it. One, two. Like
Yeah.
what am I? No harm, no foul. What am I doing?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I'm not calling for prostitution to be legal, but I'm saying it should be legal for him. You know, not legal for
Anyway,
everybody, just
he's 86
certain
years
types.
old. What are you gonna do? Yeah, he's our guy. He's on vacation right now. He went on a cruise. Like, I'm just saying, he's no Joe Biden. Like, he's just
He's
when
active.
we go out to breakfast with him, he's like, "Aren't you a cute little critter?" To like the waitress. Like, he's just like flirting with people. He's like just
He's
creepy
playing a number. He's
in
playing a
his own
numbers game.
way.
Playing a numbers game. It's like one of these waitresses is gonna have a fetish.
He takes bitches to Red Lobster. You cannot believe how much Red Lobster.
Well, not anymore. They're shut down.
No, not his. Only a couple. His
Oh,
is
wow.
wide open
Not the
for
one. Not the
business,
ones he
brother.
frequents.
I guess not. He's keeping them in business.
Yeah, man. Those ladies can order anything they want. They're, you know, salad bar,
Yes.
all that shrimp,
All you can eat
shrimp
shrimp.
extrava,
Oh my God.
extrava shrimp ganza,
We
whatever it
love
is.
him.
Yeah.
Bless his heart. Bless his heart.
Yeah.
It's
No
my
Red
product.
Lobster
I'm
in
telling
his
you,
vicinity is going to go out of
he
business.
says that it's my collagen and my life managed stuff. Like he credits it because he was just as sick as I was when we started taking our
It's
stuff.
just hard to work that into like an ad though for your products. You know what I mean? Like, hey, let me tell you this.
I tell
Hey, I
him
got
all
this.
the time because he lives in like an old community of other olds. And I always tell him, like, if you really want to be a millionaire, like
You
you
should
just need to
start like
tell them
you should start like a.
what you're taking.
You could be like you could have it like a product testimonial, but it's like you got to sign a waiver before you read it. It's not safe
He
for work.
got on his door because he lives in an old community. Somebody else is taking it too. He got on his door like a collagen sip and talk. Like they did a little party in his old community. He's like, I'm taking this stuff. Like, you could have been selling this already, buddy. Yeah. Oh, the olds. You love them. You gotta love them.
I can't wait till I get that. I can't wait till I just can just do whatever I want.
Really live
That's
up to the
exactly
show's
what he
motto.
says. He has half a lung. He had half of one of his lungs taken out. Smoking like a motherfucker until like 2 weeks ago. He decided he's like, you know what? I think I need to stop smoking cigarettes. He wants to live longer.
She's gonna start eating edibles. He's like, I'm on the edibles.
No, he's using the patch.
Honestly, edible
He's
probably
gonna
melts him
quit smoking.
away.
Losing half of his lung did not make him stop smoking. He smoked the second his son picked him up from the hospital from his lung removal surgery. He lit a
Yeah.
cigarette. But recently,
Yeah, I
in 2
feel
weeks,
like
he's using the patch now because he wants
I
to live
think
longer.
this is not scientific at all, but I think like my grandparents' generation now they did not look young,
Yeah.
right? So I won't give them
No.
that, but
Sure.
they lived pretty long and they lived pretty hard. They did smoke a lot. They did a lot of
Oh,
they were exposed to a lot of toxic stuff.
he eats nothing but
But yeah,
sugar. He eats the meals that I cook him and sugar. Just like
there is
those
something to
listen to
that
his cakes
attitude.
and Intamins and like all of the things on his counter. He just puddings, all of the sugar.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, there is a class of human that can live longer when they're just like when they just like have no respect for their doctors in the medical community whatsoever. You know what I mean? It's like 'cause
Yeah.
it is like it's like a I don't know what you call it, like a mind over matter type of thing.
He drank every day of his life. He said he for 60 plus years until the doctor told him if you have another drink, you're gonna die. Like literally, in your next drink can be your last breath. So he finally quit drinking, but that's the only thing that he's ever quit. The
Yeah,
only
there's
thing.
people's like there's people that like they look at those studies, you're just like, oh, that's a
Yeah.
warning. right? It's a lifestyle
Yeah.
warning. And there's also people
Yeah.
that are just like, well, I wasn't in that study.
Yeah.
So
When he had
doesn't
half of
count.
his lung removed and started
Doesn't
smoking,
count for
he's like,
me.
what's it gonna do? Kill me? Like, he was like 78 when he had it removed. Now he's 86. Like, I think he thought that he was like, what's it gonna do? Kill me? 78 old. Now he's 86 and still only has half a lung. And until 2 weeks ago was smoking more than a pack a day.
Yeah. I think with my grandparents' generation, it was like, it was the era when they were telling people to stop eating fat, you know,
Yeah. Yeah.
but they were just like, okay, as they just ate like pork chop grizzle. Just like, this is the best part of the pork chop, the gristle,
It's so good. It is the
yeah,
best part of the I
you
get
know,
ramen every Saturday and they
and they were just like,
put that
whatever, I'm going to
that
live. And it was like, they
as
were
long
also
as I'm
like,
gonna live.
that generation was also the first generation to challenge the scientific community to like keep making more pills. You know what I mean? Because they were before that, it's like a lot of castor oil, but like my grandmother was on
That's
so many
me.
different types of medications because there was like medication for her heart, but then that would make her have this, and there was a medication to get rid of that, and then that would cause another side effect, but there was something to get rid of that.
Yeah.
And they really were. They were like, we dare you to make another. We dare you to make a eighth drug that we have to be on
They're saying now, like everyone's on a
for this one
statin.
condition that you know.
If you're on a statin, stop taking it immediately. I'm not a doctor. I don't pretend to be, but stop it. They're making drugs that people are on for the rest of their lives. So crazy.
Yeah, I'm
Stop.
on nothing. I'm on nothing at all.
Good. Stay that way.
I literally like I don't really I like I'm no hero. Well, not to
Yeah.
everybody, but you know, to some people I
Clearly.
am.
Who are you
I'm
talking
not
to?
saying not to the entire world. You know, I'm not that arrogant to think that maybe some people. But like I try not to take I don't like to take Advil or Tylenol
Good.
because I don't
Don't.
know you know what it is that creep Benny Tortorich? Sorry.
Yeah.
That
He is
diet.
creepy. The conch shell. The
But
conch
like
shells.
I think but he said something and it made sense to me like where when you work out, where you do something strenuous and your knee is hurting, it's like it's a result because your knee, like your body is like, I need to send stuff and like I need to like, you know, do something to that area. But when you take
Right.
Advil or like just something as simple as Advil, you're kind of you're not letting your body do what has to do. So I
As
try
someone
not
who
to.
used to wear a fentanyl patch, pain medication only, it doesn't even mask the pain. Like it literally doesn't
Oh yeah, I've taken
mask
stuff like that. I've
anything.
taken
It's
like
ridiculous.
I've been on painkillers like that for a long term because I had a ruptured disc in my back for extended periods of time where yeah it does start to kind of yeah it definitely like it definitely fucks with your outlook and yeah it becomes it just I mean they become part of your lifestyle like
Yeah.
your
I'm
pill
grateful
like
for
your
Dr.
pills.
Drew. I'm so grateful for Dr. Drew because I remember him saying, and maybe it was like a conversation that he
That
had
makes
with
one of us.
Adam. I'm grateful for this because specifically I watched like Sober House. I watched all of those shows that he did, and like coming from like an addicted mother, and like I know about addiction. I grew up in AA meetings, like I understand addiction. So like hearing him say those things, I mean, you can't believe the drugs that I was prescribed. They were giving me 3 morphine pills a day, up to 4 or up to 6 Norcos, Xanax 3 a day, but 2 for backup in case I got extra stressed, Soma, gabapentin. Like you cannot believe the amount of drugs that they had me on. And every time I took it, like I was like, I know that people get addicted to these drugs, but they didn't ever help me. So I was like I was like taking them just like as like a prescription because the doctor was telling me to take them, but they never worked. But I remember like thinking like I'm going to become addicted to these. Like, I don't want to be addicted. And getting off of them was hard. And I think about like Xanax was like the hardest one. Like, I think about Xanax sometimes, I'll think about it like, oh, it'd be good if I could take one of those.
Hmm.
But I don't know. I feel like people get so like overprescribed pills because I definitely saw it. And I think that like women that like maybe like are perceived as like, I think I was perceived by my doctor as somebody who knew what I was saying because I was educated about the current disease that I had. And he just let me like basically say what I needed and he would just give it to me, like just write the
Mm.
prescription.
Oh
And I think
yeah,
there's a lot
yeah,
of people
yeah,
like
yeah.
that in this country that like you hear
Oh,
about the drugs on
there's just
TV that you're
doctors
supposed
of
to take, right? Like they're advertising drugs on
when I had back
TV.
when I had back problems, my general practitioner sent me to was like, yeah, I really don't like prescribe pain meds. Like just
Right,
like my GP is real like old school, like it's just him. That's it. It's just his practice.
right.
And he's just like, I don't really get into like if you want to like if you got pain problems and you need something, whatever, like I'll prescribe you some, 800 milligram ibuprofen. But other than that, I'm going to send
Yeah,
you to a specialist and
yeah.
well,
Let him deal with it.
but there was a whole like class of specialists out there that they're like special pain management doctors. And
Yeah,
all they do is prescribe painkillers to
bro.
people who have insurance. And you can kind of tell, like I started like I'm just a normal dude, right? I got,
Was that
like
like in
I'm not
2007,
trying to
8,
like,
9? Was that in the early 2000s?
yeah, like late 2000s and early 2000s, yeah, like 2000 teens, whatever. But
Yeah,
yeah, it's like um yeah,
unregulated. The
a
pain
whole
doctors were
class of
unregulated.
or there was or just like very very loosely, right? Like you just need to have a
So
sign up
because
in
they
your
weren't
lobby.
addictive. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I remember getting clued onto it because you're just like I show up at this doctor's office and I'm just like this. Like my
They were
doctor's office is
issuing pills
nice.
at the office. They weren't even, you didn't even have to go to a pharmacist. Like they
I
were
had to,
literally
oh,
giving
I know I
pills
had to
at the
go to a
office in California.
pharmacist. I had to go to a pharmacist because that was another slip up that I'll say about that was like another red flag. But like, I remember it's like sitting there thinking, like, my doctor's office is nice and the people are nice and there's not like plexiglass and like warning signs everywhere. Like, this place seems weird and everybody in here looks like a fucking meth addict.
Yeah,
And is like everybody that goes to the window to talk to the receptionist seems to be having
is,
like a real hard time. Like
yeah, yeah.
like
What a
the
weird place for somebody who's
like
actually in pain to be.
I went up and checked in and like it and then I just sat down and that took like 27 seconds and like this other like weird looking lady with like a weird looking dude came in and they're at the window for like 5-10 minutes like
Yeah,
having like real long conversations like this is something's not right here.
yeah,
And
pleading
then
their case.
there'd be signs, like really cheaply printed signs that would say things like real obvious things like we do not we do not have the medications here.
All right. Please don't rob us, you
Like
fucking
you will
crackheads.
have to like go to a pharmacy and get your
Yeah,
drugs. Like I'm like, well,
yeah,
I'm like looking at this. I'm like looking at this like, yeah,
yeah,
I know. Like, do people not know that? Like,
yeah,
or
yeah.
was there ever a time where they did just have like a bunch of like
They
painkillers in
did.
the back?
They
All right.
certainly did. My late husband, like literally, you cannot believe the amount of pain pills that they would send him home with. You cannot believe it. You
Well,
literally
anyway,
cannot believe it.
I stopped seeing that doctor when I had to knock the door one day and I got a certified letter. It was the
Yeah.
mailman with a certified letter saying that he couldn't be my doctor anymore because they like you would take a drug test every time. I went on a cruise to Mexico. I partied a little bit. I didn't even think about it, but like and then I remember like every 6 months I have to go see this guy to go through this
Yeah.
weird like,
Yeah.
does your back hurt? Yes. How bad?
They want to make
Uh,
sure how much you're
pretty
taking. Yeah. They
bad.
were trying to monitor it because they
But no, they
knew.
would make you take like they would like sometimes they'd make you take a piss test.
Mhm.
And I'd be like, and again, that was
To
another red
make sure
flag,
that
which
you're
is
taking the drugs and not selling them.
oh, I think
That's why they give you the piss test.
they're like testing you for other stuff. Like I guess I think
Oh,
I smoked weed when I was on a cruise. but I didn't even think
Oh,
about it. But
interesting.
this letter was like, you broke our policy about this and that. I was like, and
Interesting.
it took me like a few minutes, and I remember feeling like real pissed off, like, oh, what?
Right.
That's like that was the doctor patient relationship.
But you still
Right.
It
had
wasn't
500 Norco, so it would last you for the next 2 years.
no, well, no. Okay, so in that period of time where at some point this doctor wrote me a prescription for a muscle relaxer.
Soma.
I don't know what it was. That sounds familiar. But
Flexible.
I remember telling him like, man, I like when I take these, it just puts me in a coma.
Yeah.
And he was
I
like,
lost
okay,
48 hours on a flexible pill.
yeah. And he was like,
It's the soma
out,
coma.
and I was like, it's like I'm not asleep, but I'm asleep, but
Not
I'm not
okay.
asleep,
Yeah. I'm not
you
here
know.
though.
And
Yeah.
he was like, oh, we'll just take like, if you feel the need, just take a quarter. And I was like, okay. So then he wrote like
Yeah.
another prescription in like the weird, alien language they write in.
Yeah.
So then I went to the pharmacy and they gave me like a giant bottle of these pills. Like, I
Yeah.
guess they got it backwards. So instead of giving me like a quarter of what I was getting before, they gave me like four times as much. And I was like, and again, like I'm me. So I just
Yeah.
observe and they just hand me this thing. I'm just like, hmm. And I'm not gonna be
Off we
like,
go.
yeah, I'm not gonna like if you give me more than what I'm supposed to get, I'm not gonna be like,
Yeah.
hold on a second here. But I was like,
You felt like you
oh
won.
man,
You're
that was
like,
a
well,
and then like every time I would go and do a refill, they would just give me like this giant bottle of these muscle
yeah.
relaxers.
Uh,
So I still have like a 10-year supply of muscle relaxers, I guess.
nice. Yeah, no shelf life on those. Like it's just like maybe half effective.
But it was like a
So
really
good.
bad mistake.
Send
And
me
if I would have,
some.
I
Those are
think
my favorite.
if I would have taken what they prescribed, I would be dead because I was like,
Yeah, no, for sure.
this thing would wipe me out. But I remember that. Yeah, it's a lot of red flags. But yeah, that doctor fired me as a it was like a
Love
Seinfeld
that.
episode. It was like a Seinfeld episode where like a doctor is like, you can't, we
Yeah.
won't serve you anymore.
No pills for you.
Made me
I
feel
saw an
bad because I was like, what did I do? I was like,
I saw an
oh, sorry.
oncologist once. My nurse practitioner was like, he was super invested in me feeling better, like trying to find like the root cause or whatever. And he's like, he had a OB oncologist that was like somebody that was a friend or a colleague on some level. And he got me this specialist appointment, got approved through my insurance. And I walked in there and the oncologist said, oh, no, 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 no. We don't deal with endometriosis. It was like, oh, okay, great. Thank you. Just, yeah, like
Yeah.
medicine is so weird. Doctors are so
Well,
weird.
it's highly regulated, but like you were saying, it is unregulated in a way or it's like there's blind spots in the regulation
Yeah. Yeah.
that allow for massive amounts of commerce to go on.
Yeah, for sure. That's why I'm like, why are people getting injections? Like we just learned about injections and
Mm.
now they're making like all this money on Ozempic. Like, and I understand that it works for a lot of people and I'm so happy. And I feel like there are like I've seen a doctor on TikTok talking about like low doses doing magical things for people. I know we wanted to
Really
talk
can't
about
deny it.
Lizzo. It's
Yeah.
too late
Like
for
you
it.
can't
It's too
really.
late to
Yeah,
talk
it
about
is.
Lizzo. But I just feel like stop letting these motherfuckers inject you. Like we don't know what they're doing. Stop it.
Well,
It's my own
I
personal
guess it's,
opinion.
to wrap it all up, it's part of the human condition. It's just like,
Yeah.
you're telling me that I could
Mhm.
achieve X, Y, or Z.
With
Yeah.
just a shot.
And I don't really have to think about it. I don't really like
Gosh.
just, and it's that easy. Like, I mean, that's
Not
just,
there's no free rides in nature, or isn't that what he says? There's no free rides.
Yeah.
I think he stole that from Dr. Drew, or I don't know.
Yeah, maybe.
Well, it's just,
My hero.
yeah, it's a tough, that's a tough thing. I mean, maybe we'll find out that was like, it's like a terrible thing. But
Yeah.
it's a tough thing to argue against, because maybe some people are doing it for beauty standards and some people are doing it for health. And it's like, okay,
Yeah.
it's a win-win. It's like, And isn't it just a matter of time? Like, isn't it? I mean, I'm sorry, not a matter. Isn't it about fucking time? You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like,
It's about damn time. Back to Lizzo.
isn't it? Is that a song? I don't know, but it's like it's
Yeah.
about time. They're like, yeah, we found this drug that's just like kind of like curbs your appetite, makes you lose weight. Like, bing
Oh
bang,
my
bing bong
gosh.
bing,
Fin
bing bong
Fin.
bang.
I love Fin Fin. I'm taking a fat reducer right now. I love it.
Oh yeah, and there's no risk of like explosive diarrhea.
Oh,
You
my
know?
girlfriend and I, when Fin Fin got banned, we found Mexican Fin Fin. And like neither one of us ever
Fin
weighed
Fin.
like any amount. Like, we were just like, give it to me. Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
I hope my kids aren't listening. Love you guys.
Oh, me
Happy
neither. Me
Friday.
and my friends when we were kids, we tried to smoke bee pollen pills from
Oh.
GNC. We thought that would get you high or something.
Mhm. Yeah.
I'll never
I'm
forget it
all of
because
that.
me and my buddy, I won't name names, but me and my buddy, it was kind of our idea, and we were like, I can't remember, it's like taking something something, and then we looked over at his little brother. Well, he was like 2 years younger than we were. He's like,
Yeah.
and his little brother looked real worried. And I guess he misheard what we said. He ate like 60. He's just like, he ate like a ton of, he ate or like, did he like, and he was like, I thought you guys said something different. And nothing happened, but like, yeah,
He
we
ate
were
a bunch
freaked.
of bee pollen instead of snorting it. Is that what
No, he snorted it. He like snorted, ate it. I was like, no, no, we looked over.
I've never
No,
heard
no,
about
we were supposed to snort it. But then like, he was like, I thought you said to eat them. We were like, where are, he's like, I ate like 60 of them. And he's like, what's going to happen to me? And, like we're like, I don't know, we're like 19, he's 17. So he's looking at us like we know what we're doing.
Yeah, for
Like,
sure.
we just blew like $20 at GNC on bee pollen.
Yeah.
And he's asking us, like, what's going to happen to me? What's going to happen?
My cortisol pills came today. I found out if you take them like at night and in the morning, I have them on subscription, but if I found out if you take them at night in the morning, like my hot flashes are gone. So I was like, I ran out. So I've been like waiting for them to come, and they came when my daughter was here. I was like, don't mind me. I feel like I need to snort these real quick. But I mean, obviously I didn't, but
But you can't take that long term, can you?
I know that's what it
Or
says. You're
can you,
supposed to take
or
it.
was that a lie? You can if
It
you
says
want to.
it, what,
Just
cortisol
take
pills?
cortisone. Is that the same
It
thing?
says that
Is
you're
that
supposed to
different?
take it for 4 months and then stop for two. Why? I don't know why. I was like, fuck that.
Oh,
I'm
because
just
your
gonna
body
take it
starts
for
because your body's supposed to produce it and it will stop producing it. But it's like, well, that's why they make the pills.
all
I'm just kidding.
right.
That's a
All
terrible
right. I'm gonna
idea.
look into it. I have to go to the bathroom. Happy Friday.
Well, because it works really well, right?
It
Like if
works
you have
so
like a
good.
right,
It makes me
but I
less
think it works too well.
rageful.
Oh,
It makes
good.
all of the things. Like I'm so happy. I love it. It's my new addiction. Yeah, but I'm not gonna snort it, I promise. But I'm glad that they're back. So, anyways,
Yeah.
the
Well,
FedEx truck was in front of
I
my door
would
today. I was
say
like,
you should mix it in with a little bee pollen because it really,
yeah, okay. I've heard that. They sell bee pollen at my grocery, so I'll get that and snort that too.
it's 100% bullshit.
Okay. Well, maybe
Or
you were doing it wrong.
maybe all that bee pollen
Maybe
I
I'll
snorted
sprinkle
that
like
like,
keef over my joints. I'll just
yeah,
There you go.
it was like 1991. I'm just like, taking like a, a two lifetime supply of bee pollen in 1991. And that's why I'm in the way I am today. Going strong.
maybe that's why the bees attacked you, though, honestly.
Yeah, maybe that's why they're drawn to you.
I mean, that's a little deep. We might
Yeah, I
have to
mean,
take that for next week, but
yeah, I'm gonna say,
you might have brought this on yourself, right?
my quick fire scientific opinion is it could go either way.
We can't be certain.
That's my first take.
Yeah,
Either
it's
way, it
good.
could go either way.
It's a good one. Why would you blame yourself?
Feel safe. Feel safe. Yeah. Well, it's probably the beekeeper. It was the bee guy's fault because I was like, he told me you shouldn't stand here
Yeah.
And when I blew him, he should have been more emphatic. He should have been like,
Your poor daughters.
what he should have done, we should have got his phone out and been like, this is the last guy that didn't.
That didn't listen.
Yeah. But he didn't. He was just like,
Don't
all
be
right,
like
gringo.
him.
Yeah.
He's like, all right, gringo.
Yeah. You didn't see you're Asian. You should have had your Japanese accent out that day.
Yes. A dog go outside. My
All
dog
right,
understands.
get it on. Get it on. We gotta go. I gotta go.
All right,
I have
yes,
to go.
get it on. Yes.
Sign language for I gotta
Hi.
go.
Do what you want, everybody.
Do what you want.
Get it on.
I'm disgusted. So disgusted. So